folks. It's the Bold Sports Show. You know what it is. Get a little tailgate show going, a little pregame, a little pre-party action. Excited for these Saturday games. We're running out of time in the NFL season. Quickly, quickly. That is life, right? You start the season, you got plenty of opportunity to make the playoffs, plenty of chances to do all sorts of things, such as life. And now here we are facing the end of the road, watching teams not make the playoffs. Guess what, folks? Today, nothing but playoff teams. That's what we're seeing today. And I know a lot of people are thinking we're going to see some exciting, crazy levels of football, but remember, all these teams kind of need to hold the cards close to the chest, right? You got to hold it kind of close to the chest. You can't just be letting it all out. You can't let your playbooks be known. You're going to need them. You're going to need them. You know, the Texans are playing for nothing but maybe positioning in playoffs. Does a third seed matter compared to a fourth seed? Mm. The Chiefs kind of playing for the one seed, but they've got a little breathing room. It's not a do or die situation. And that's just for a week off that they can take whether they want to or not. Like they can choose to. They did it last season. Week 18. Look, we didn't get the bye week for the playoffs. We're creating a bye week. That's the Andy Reid way. That's just what we do. Shout out to these Houston Texans being a very competitive team. Oh, we got Trey in the house. What's up, Trey? I'm streaming straight on YouTube instead of using StreamYard, so I can't highlight your comment like I normally would. However, shout out to Trey. Who you got in this game? Who you got in the first game of the day? What you thinking on this Texans Chiefs game? They made the playoffs. Shout out to that. That easy AFC South. I thought the AFC South was going to be absolutely by a country mile. And you have the Colts meeting a plethora, plethora of things to go their way to finally make the playoffs. Trey's going with the Texans. Woohoo! In Kansas City. Oh, wouldn't that be something? These 9-5 Houston Texans. Look, they want to show that they this is what you gotta remember. This is everybody's Super Bowl, right? If you want to be a Super Bowl level team, you want to be able to say, we went in there and beat the champs. The people everyone knows is going to win the Super Bowl, we went and beat them. Anything is possible. However, one hey, sorry about that, folks. This YouTube, I got to remember the YouTube version does not stream as good as the StreamYard. I got to make sure I only go StreamYard from here on out. I apologize for the inconveniences. But back to what I was saying, the greatest playoff game I had ever seen, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Texans. The Texans were up like what, 24 points or something like that. It was something ridiculous, something ridiculous. And they go on. The Texans went on to lose like 42-27 or something. It was just a rout, a rout. It lets me know that with Sir Patrick Mahomes, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Let's take a look at the betting lines. Let's see what the NFL is saying. Texans are 3.5 point dogs at home. They'll give you a plus 160 on the money line if you pulled it off. If you magically pulled it off, that would be something. Shout out to the Texans fans betting that. Only 19% of the public. And that always kind of makes me nervous, Trey. That gives you a little something to look forward to. We got something over there that's pointing your way. Because this has been kind of that sweet spot for close games when the public is so heavy on one side and then it's just a little bit on the other. Like it gets ridiculous here. Because but then again, do you really want to bet against the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you really want to go that road? Now, I am a money line better. I am not going to spot the Texans 3.5 points. We've seen it all season. The Chiefs typically win by like 3 points. Andy Reid does not go out to play with the intention to just blow out teams, right? You have to make bulletin board material for Andy Reid to get that salty where he's like, you know what? You know what I'm doing? I'm blowing everybody out. Like we're taking it down. We're going. We're getting it. We're running up the scoreboard. I was kind of surprised that we did not see that against the Raiders this season. So the only thing that caused me a little bit of concern, because preseason we seen the little Kermit the Frog imitating Patrick Mahomes, making jokes and all that stuff. Like Patrick Mahomes isn't like 10-2 versus the Raiders. Like Patrick Mahomes doesn't have more as many rings as the organization on his hand by his goddamn self, and you ain't got no one in the organization that's even sniffed a Super Bowl. Do you have the audacity to start yapping? Like that's the kind of things you did see. Now this week there was a defensive tackle for the Texans that raised some eyebrows that caused some, well, maybe this will be our bulletin board material. They said that ankle better be good because we about to, you might want to sit down this game. We coming for you, boy. And and the dude's got like 4 sacks on the season talking this madness. What we've learned about Sir Patrick Mahomes is you do not want to start poking that bear. What are you doing poking that bear? It's the same thing we've seen with Michael Jordan. We've seen it with Michael Jordan. You start talking shit to Michael Jordan, and it's done. It's done. It's done. You gave him the motivation. Certain guys you should not make mad. Larry Bird was one of them. There's Derek Thomas. I remember when they made Derek Thomas mad. Shannon Sharp. And I think I've got a video on the channel about this topic alone by itself. By its dang self. I've got a video on this topic alone. It is nuts. So Shannon Sharp, Shannon he's known for talking, right? If we know anything about Uncle Shannon Sharp, I'd like to run his mouth a little bit. So one day, the Chiefs are playing the Broncos, and Shannon Sharp and Derek Thomas actually knew each other, hang down in the offseason and some more stuff. And Shannon Sharp just started repeating Derek Thomas's girlfriend's phone number to him. He was like, bro, I got that phone number and some more stuff. Start running his mouth at him. Derek Thomas got called for like four roughing the passers and all kinds of penalties. He was going berserk. Like, talk about getting under the skin. Certain guys, it doesn't make any sense to poke that bear. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me why you would bother doing it. Let the what's that old saying? Let your play on the field speak for itself. Don't be out here running your mouth doing this because you never know what bear you're gonna poke, bro. You never know. There's always that saying. There's always someone bigger. There's always someone faster. Da, 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 da. So running that mouth, you might bring that out in them. You might just bring it out in them. Maybe the Texans did that. I don't know. I don't know. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing for that number one seed. The Texans aren't really playing for much. And you ain't got talk about a loud stadium. You want to talk about a loud stadium to go to and just start running your mouth. The old Kansas City Stadium, the old Arrowhead Stadium, gonna get you riled up. Look, I think this is the Kansas City Chiefs by a solid country mile, as I like to say. The Texans have been playing sloppy too. Like, it's not expected. I just don't see it. Ooh, headlines. Let's talk about this with the Atlanta Falcons real quick. I know I've been we've been on this Chiefs Texans game for a few minutes. Let's go over some headlines around the NFL, talk a few topics. The Falcons are expected to cut Kirk Cousins before $10 million is due. Cutting the strings, going with my boy Penix Jr. It's funny, I seen a meme that was like, look, we're getting rid of all the pocket passers. I was like, well, I guess they forgot Penix. Penix is a pocket passer. I guess, I forgot that, sometimes looking at a guy, you can't tell, but yeah, he doesn't, he's not a runner. Jags all day. Man, we could talk about the Jags all day. Talk about a disappointment of a season, bruh. What are we supposed to be doing with this? What are we supposed to be doing with the Jags, bruh? Like, there is nothing, not all day. Look, they're going to get a win this week. You're going to get a win this week. You're going to get a win this week because you're playing the Raiders. The football gods have gifted upon the Jacksonville Jaguars, the only team in the NFL that would just toss a game. Like, you ran into the right team at the right time. Congratulations on your 4-win season. Somehow, some way, you made the AFC South that much more disappointing. Almost single-handedly, the Jaguars are what brought down the AFC South by themselves. Look, we knew the Tennessee Titans were going to be trash. We knew it, right? We had questions about the Colts. We knew the Texans would be good, and we figured the Jags would be good. Well, we guessed wrong, folks. The Jags were not good. Shout out to Travis Fortnite, Chiefs all day. Let's go. Whoa, let's go. Lions rule, Bears drool, Lions future Super Bowl champs. Mr. Motown Mitch, shout it out. Look, I want to talk trash, but we got to stop for a second because going into the season, my Super Bowl pick was these Detroit Lions. I warned people 2 years ago this was coming. I said it was coming. You could see it. When they hired Dan Campbell, it changed the organization. It is exactly who they needed for a coach. And he's excelled perfectly. Perfectly. That being said, just because you go to the Super Bowl don't mean you win them. All right, buddy. And you know what force field you're running into. You're running into the legacy of Sir Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason the LA Rams traded Jared Goff. I said it. You said it. You know it. I know it. Why they trade him? Why they go after Matt Stafford? Because they needed that much better of a quarterback. And when you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, we're going this much better of a quarterback. That much better. That's how much more you improved. The gap is not unattainable. The difference in coaching cannot be denied. Like it's just Kansas City. Much love to your Kansas City Chiefs. We meet you in the Super Bowl to be the best. Got to beat the best. That's right. That is right. Now my co-host picked the Green Bay Packers to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm a man tie against it. A man tie for it. I don't believe it. I struggle to see it, but I try to tell people. I warned them. And what killed me, what I was surprised about is, this is the bold sports show. We make bold predictions. We put it out there. We let you know. We try to tell you the things people are not telling you. And I was blown away how many other people were like, yeah, Troy Lions go to the Super Bowl, boy. Like it blew me away. I was like, man. So shout out to my partner for at least being a little different with that Green Bay Packers. Shout out to Dude with a Beard. Motown Mitch says the LA Rams traded Golf because they are stupid. Rams fell off and are trash with Stafford. Golf has outplayed Stafford hands down. Also, Golf is undefeated against Mahomes. All right, let's touch on those topics. First of all, the LA Rams are currently winning the NFC West. That is a very competitive division for the most part. Currently winning the NFC West. Did you predict that before the season? I know I didn't. I knew they would be good, but I did not go with the Rams. Yeah, I went with the Niners. I thought they'd keep the track going at least a little better than what they did. Matt Stafford also got a ring. Now we're also getting to that apex point in NFL careers, right? So Matt Stafford's probably already peaked. We've already seen peaked. Football IQ is sharp. Physical ability wise, we've seen his peak. And Jared Goff has had the best year of his career. We might be seeing Jared Goff's current peak because he's looked at completion percentage. You cannot be denied. Cannot be denied. Like he's been very efficient this year, and he's got great talent around him. I am a little nervous how banged up you guys are. Okay, let's not look. As a Chiefs fan, I've been there. We made it to the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with no offensive lineman. Like we got to that point, you start the season, you got a full squad, and we're starting to get to the point with the Detroit Lions where we're like, man, I really wish we still had blah 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 blah. Like I want Hutchinson out there. Like you can start naming them. Like it's rough. The Jacksonville Jaguars would be winning the NFC West. That's how bad the West is. What are we? Oh, you're trying to kill me, Motown. Uh, it's not that bad. It is not that bad. No, and honestly, I think the Rams would have looked better if they didn't go through a period where they were so injured that they couldn't really put together a squad, and they still won a couple games in such a situation. The Rams are a feisty team. Now, are they going to stop the Detroit Lions from winning a Super Bowl if they make the playoffs? If the Detroit Lions play the Rams in the playoffs, do I think Matt Stafford's going to beat the Detroit Lions? No. Do I think he'll make it a slightly competitive? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Especially with Puka Nuka and Cup, he's got weapons. He's got weapons and talent around him. Decent defense. I really wish they still had Aaron Donald. Like that'd make you feel a lot better about the situation, obviously. But that's it's kind of what we're getting into. I don't think the Jags would be winning the West. Um, you'd have to go with a more competitive team. I would say I think the Green Bay Packers would win the West. I think the Minnesota Vikings would win the West, and they're not going to win their division. You know, they're not going to win the North. We got the Kings of the North, got that locked up. That's one of my favorite titles to be out there. The old Kings of the North title. Let me see. Let's get into let's get into the second game of the week before we get too long into the show. This is that we only got two games to talk about this week, so we're not going to go too crazy. We got to talk about these Steelers versus Ravens. The Steelers somehow, some way, 6.5 point dogs on the road. I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised about this one. I think the Steelers could win this game. This is the game. This is what we're playing for right now. Is the AFC North. Now we don't crown them the Kings of the North because that is solely an NFC North title, in my opinion. We've always referred to that on this show. However, the AFC North has been kind of slightly disappointing this year, competitive wise, right? Cincinnati Bengals not put up any fight as predicted. As predicted. People like to call us haters when we say things like Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have regressed and they're not going to be very good. And then we get, oh, you just haters. You just haters. You said the same thing about Josh Allen and he's doing good. Look, it just means we don't get every take right, right? And nobody does. And if they try to tell you they do, blowing smoke up your butt, right? Everybody swings and miss. Baseball isn't, you only got to be, if you hit the ball a third of the time in the baseball, you're one of the greatest ever. And in football picks, we try to stay above that 70% line. You hitting that 70% line, you're getting close to odd makers territory right there. So it's kind of nice to be in that successful range. And I think the Steelers, they got a good overall team. This is such an another thing that people are forgetting is Lamar Jackson has historically struggled against the Steelers, right? Lamar Jackson, for whatever reason, cannot beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and he cannot beat the Steelers. Now, has he done it? Sure, sure. It's not completely impossible, but it's highly unlikely. And this is another one. Look, give me the Chiefs money line and parlay that with the Steelers money line, and all of a sudden we got a little juice on it. Even though, really, if you're going to take the Steelers money line, don't parlay with it nothing. It is a plus 250. Plus 250. That means for every $100 or $10. If you bet $10, you're going to win 25. Put the 35 back in your pocket. If you bet $100, you're gonna win $250. Walk out the casino with $350 out of your pocket. Maybe you place your bet online. Maybe you ain't even got to walk. Free money. That's what we're talking about. What do we got? A 49ers fan? Chiefs suck because we keep beating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's real rough. Real tough. Sucks to be a cowboy, right? Yeah. Anywho, that has been your little tailgate show of the week for Saturday. We'll be here tomorrow morning, probably slightly hungover. Let me see. Steelers lose today 21-27, but Texans today 28-24. No, that never happened. That never happened. That didn't happen. Which time did it not happen? You got to clear. I need a clarification. Which one did it happen? Yeah, my neighbor even yelled, "Really?" They couldn't believe it. Which one? Which one did never happen? Both of them? Are we doing this? Is that what's going on, 49ers fan? Look, look, nah, 2020, 24. Yeah, look, yeah, those are all made up years. I feel you, bro. Look, I'm a Chiefs fan living in Tampa Bay. So anytime the conversation comes up, I'm like, what are you even? I know Pat Mahomes has 3 rings. I know Pat Mahomes has 3 rings. How many does the Tampa Bay organization have, huh? Huh. You know, my boy tried to catch up. My boy tried to catch up to y'all by himself. That's what he's trying to do. But shout out to the 49ers fans. We always had you can check the tape. You can look at the thumbnails in the previous. Our very first guest was a 49ers fan. Shout out to Frank. Like he's been on multiple. Anytime the Chiefs play the 49ers in the Super Bowl, we've had him on. So like it had been a couple years since we had him on, and we were like, we got to get Frank back for the Super Bowl. So shout out to Frank. Probably not watching, but shout out to Frank. Yeah, when Greenlaw got hurt, that didn't happen. Yeah, and man, I really would have liked to see. I would have liked to see that one play out. I would have liked to see that one because you never want injury to be the reason. Especially in that game. In that moment, you don't want that. Like we already lost players coming into the game. Everybody did. Let's everybody be healthy, have a nice competitive matchup, and yeah, that was tough for y'all to have to deal with. And I'm sorry that y'all wasn't who got hurt or whatever. But we did appreciate those Super Bowls. It's been excellent. Well, folks, I got family coming over for the game, so I got to get the old Rotel fired up. I'm gonna go pick up some Benchmark Foolproof, give that a shot. We got some Russell 10-year in the freezer, and maybe we'll get a review on one of those later on or something. Is Mahomes playing today? Yeah, he was off the injury report yesterday or the day before, something like that. He's all good. If AliExpress was a person, you would be it. Hey, shout it out. That makes me $1 billion company. I appreciate you, Alexander. If you're gonna insult someone, try not to call them a success. Like I don't know what to do. Can I have mods? I don't even know what that means. What's a mod? That's a good question. But shout out to Alexander. Work on your insults. That fucking Timu ass insult you got going on there that isn't really working very well. Huh, huh, huh. Can I have mods? You gotta pop it in before I hang up, bud. We're about to start getting drunk, start getting this rotel fired up. When your name turns blue. Let me do some Googling there. We'll figure it out. We'll see you. I'll be on here tomorrow. Maybe you touch back in with me, see if I can figure out what that even is. Can I teach you how to make that stuff? No, I don't know the recipe, bro. Not my cup of tea. I party in different ways. Look, this is the only thing we really do around here. I'm more of a I'm more of an astronaut than a let's get going kind of guy. I'm more of a let's take the journey into the stars. You know what I mean? You know those those more healthy, organic, and nothing crazy. None of these crazy let me out get my out of body experiences type things, or go into the third dimension type thing. Just some regular stuff you can find under some cow poop or something, you know. Well, folks, y'all have a great day. This has been the Tailgate Show for the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Houston Texans and the Steelers pulling off the upset for against the Ravens.